Okay, this begins right over here. I'll make a line to show that this is a new Gemara. We talk about Tana, which means we learned, or it was taught, and we were discussing before the heading of Hazirei v'Acherish, which means planting seeds and then plowing. So we're going to talk about planting. That was the first melacha that was mentioned in the Mishnah. So Tana, we learned that it's been taught that Hazireya, someone that sows, I'll write that in, he sows the seeds of grain, as we're going to see. V'hazomar is to prune, and v'haniteya is to plant a tree. V'hamavrich is called layering, which I'll show you, and v'hamarkiv is grafting. So let me show you, everyone knows what planting seeds are. Pruning, I'm not sure if I have a picture of that. Let me see what I have over here. This is a picture of grafting. You cut the tree, and then you take a branch from another tree, you put it in there so it fits nice, and then you just tie it up, or you could tape it. Here's a picture of layering. This is really interesting. If you take this fern, or some sort of what do you call this? You call it a vine, I guess, or something like that, some sort of branch, and you take it back into the ground and then out and then all over and then up again. You would actually be able to cut it over here and cut it, and you would be able to get new trees or new ferns growing out of this, which is pretty interesting. So this is called, in Hebrew, this is called mavrich, and as opposed to markiv, which is grafting. So all of these are, which are 5 things, kula melacha achasein, they're all one melacha. Well, the Gemara wants to know, what's the big deal that they're all one melacha? It says, the Gemara says, mai kamashmalan. What? Mai means what. Doesn't mean why, even though it rhymes with why, it means what. Kamashmalan, is it letting us hear, or coming to teach us? That's a question. And hakamash malan, it's coming to teach us. And whenever there's brackets in the Gemara, we always read it. Whenever there's parentheses, we always don't read it. That's the rule that I was taught in yeshiva. But it's coming to, this we're going to read because it's in brackets. Hakamash malan, it's coming to let us hear. It's coming to tell us that ha'isa malachas harbe. If someone does many malachas, the word harbe means many. Ha'isa obviously is someone does. In malachas, you know. Me'en malacha achas. The word me'en means similar to one malacha. So if you do many malachas that are all similar to one malacha, which in this case is all similar, let's see if we can make some sort of color here that could show that. Let's go like this, making it nice and green, because farmers have green thumbs and they grow green stuff. So me'en malacha achas. So what we're saying is, you only be chayev, that's the wrong pen, you'll only be chayev 1 carbon, which is very interesting. So if you do all these malachas, you'll only be chayev 1 carbon. Let's make it in red. Okay, we have some important Rashis to do. Basically all we learned so far was that you can do 5 things, but because they're under the same category, you'll only have to bring 1 chatas. Obviously it's all in one forgetting. So kula malacha achasein, they're all one malacha, Rashi says. The zomer nami, because pruning also, this means also, zomer we already said means pruning, but I'll write it in. Pruning also, litzmuche ilanahu. Ilana is a tree, ilan is a tree, in Aramaic it turns to ilana. Litzmuche is growth. To promote growth of the tree. V'nafka. What's the difference if it's one malacha or not one malacha? The word nafka actually means to come out, but it's basically what comes out from it. So, what comes out from it. In other words, the difference is the that if. Remember we had the dalid before. The dal means that if Avid le kulan bahadi zereya, if he did all of them, avad is did, lay, if he did them, or it, avad lay kula means all of them. Bahadi, together with, zoreya, you'll only be chayev one. Chada means one. I'll make a number one. And now Rashi explains the end of the Gemara. Okay, now, so far Rashi didn't tell us much. However, now Rashi is going to tell us some interesting stuff. What Rashi said until now was just that pruning is because it promotes growth, so that's considered planting, which is promoting the growth of the seed. And Rashi explained the Gemara that the difference would be that if you did zomer together with these other four, you would be chayiv only one melacha. So now Rashi says something interesting. It says zoreya is a av melacha. Planting seeds is a av melacha. V'neiteya, and planting trees, nami av melacha, is also an av melacha. Av, when I say av, it literally means a father. But it means it's one of the main categories, which the Gemara tells us this is one of the categories that was in the Mishkan. The Haino Zereya. Let me take away that little comma. We'll go like that. And we'll put the Nami Av Malacha Hu the Haino Zereya. Neiteya is also the Av Malacha because it's also planting. Ela Shezeb Izraim V'Zeb Ilanis. This is with seeds. And this is with trees. We had a discussion in class, a rather interesting discussion. If this means grain, I'll write in grain, and this means trees, as in like apple seeds or orange seeds, or if it means specifically that you're planting a stalk, not a stalk, like a sapling. And the difference would be, the way we're going to learn this, is that let's say I plant an apple seed or an orange seed. Would that go under the category of Zeraim, or would that go under the category of Ilanis? Because it will turn into a tree, but I didn't plant it as a tree. That's a discussion the Mefarshim discuss, and we'll leave it alone. Let's just talk about seeds and trees. B'chein, and the same would apply to Mavrich U'Markiv, that these are also Av Malachas. So again, Mavrich, we said, is layering, and Markiv is grafting. Avol Zomer Tolda. One thing is for sure, that Zomer is a Tolda. This cannot be emphasized too much. It can't be overemphasized. It's extremely important that Zomer is a Tolda. We're going to see in the next Gemara, but we're going to have to stop here. But Zomer, which means pruning, is not an Av Malacha.